Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you a Smogon Premier League 17 matchup. This is a Week 1 showdown between the Ladybug of the Dragonspiral Tyrants and Pideous of the Circus Maximus Tigers. So both players deeply veterans in their own rights. Pideous, a former Jirachi's Invitational winner a couple years ago, and she also had a very strong showing in our most recent Invitational. Whereas for Ladybug's an old player who's been around longer than some of you were alive. That said, and Ladybug last year had a respectable campaign for the Cryos. I believe he finished like 4-4, something along those lines. Whereas Pideous sat out SPL, I think, last year, but played, I believe, 2 years ago when she was on the Classius, where she had a pretty brutal campaign, to say the least. But that said, though, let's jump right into this. Hippo lead, Tyranitar lead. So this lead matchup, obviously not favored for Pideous for the most part, but Hippo indicating stall. Now this T-Tar could also be something like a focus sash counter, so that's something Ladybug's gonna have to be weary of. Pideous is a very creative builder, and I'm gonna be curious to see what she has up her sleeve as this match progresses. And oh, gets an instant toxic right off the bat, and that Hippo's gonna be on a permanent timer, so that's a fantastic lure by Pideous. And Ladybug's gotta take rocks and going to have to switch out into a Magnezone, but oh, the Skarmory is revealed to be Shed Shell. So this tells me something here is that one, Ladybug's going to have an extremely hard time winning this game, especially with the Shed Skarm that Pideous has in her back pocket into a Quagsire, and the Hippo's a perma timer. So Ladybug's going to have to find another way to win this game. But something to note about Shed Skarm is generally, while you avoid being trapped by something like Magnezone, this comes at the cost of one, being much more vulnerable to Iron Head flinches or passive chip damage that it's going to take throughout the game. So it really misses lefties as a result of having the ability to bypass trapping. That said, though, this Quagsire is going to threaten, and his answer is going to be Clefable, but Clefable into a lefty's T-Tar, and T-Tar is just going to get rocks up, so Pideous getting a ton of mileage early on, and really using Protect here to really go all in on the Toxic strat. So that is a fantastic tech by Pideous so far. I am thoroughly impressed, and let's just see what Ladybug's how he's going to respond to this. I'm gonna just S-toss here. EQ only doing 29%. That is basically chump change, as one might say. And Bronzong's gonna be a follow-up here to avoid the EQ. And oh man, Bronzong makes sense. So if you're running something like a Magnezone, indicates you have a Bronzong usually, which gets completely walled by Skarm. And what Ladybug is going to have to focus on is trying to deny every time the Skarm comes in, going to have to deny it from being able to do anything except switch out. So that's just something to be weary of. And oh, fantastic trick there by Pideous. So that is... So Pideous really doing a good job of disguising the sets on her team, because when you see this structure, you see Tyranitar, you see Skarmory, you see Quagsire, and then you see Latias. You're probably thinking this is defensive Latias, but Latias getting that trick off on the Bronzong. So that is just good team building right there, like just good tech and a fantastic lure, and Ladybug's just being caught off guard now, especially with this Bronzong effectively being useless. And Ladybug going to double into the Clefable here, and Pideous does not want to lose the Shed Shell. So Pideous is going to have to be wary of hazard damage, and oh okay, finally goes into Clefable. And Pideous This is CM Clef, so that looks to be the main win condition here. And Ladybug better be careful because oh, okay, finally shows Encore, so good patience there from Ladybug to like just wait it out and look for an opportunity to catch Pideous being greedy instead of encoring on impact. And just got explode there, just try to make sure that, you know, the Bronzong can get some mileage. And oh, huge crit there. But Pideous is going to have to get another crit, or gonna have to get crit again to actually lose it. And Ladybug's probably going to be forced to heal up here, and good entry point there into Latias. And Ladybug is playing a little bit too desperate right now, knowing that he is clearly behind in the game. And that Surf's going to do nothing to Clef, but Pideous has her own Clef to fall back on. And going to S-Toss here. I'm going to speed this up because it looks like it's going to be a while, but long term, what can Ladybug do? I guess in this case, it's more like how can you catch Pideous choking? Is one, if you get the Scarm out the picture, because like you want to prevent Scarm from just getting layers up, because Magnezone is not going to enjoy that. Hippowdon is certainly not going to like it either. And Clef just going to S-Toss here, so I think this might have been a blunder in prep for ABR and Ladybug and whoever else is helping on the Tyrants. And Latias just got to recover again. Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. This loop for Pideous, what she can do is try to force Ladybug to burn all the Encores. Okay, well, there's another Encore burnt, so you know, you got 6 more Encores to burn, and that Magnezone is Scarf, which makes sense. Something you would see on these Osgood type teams normally. And Clef's going to Softboil again, and oh man, Ladybug's using those Encores a little too liberally, I think. Yeah, I mean, sure, you force it to switch out, but you know, if you're thinking, you know, 50, 60, 70 turns down the line, it's like every PP counts. Like, you need to force the issue here. And yeah, Ladybug realizes this and is probably just trying to bait Pideous into switching out. But this might be ill-advised. Ice Beam's here. I mean, it's not doing much, but Pideous has so many chances to fish for a freeze now. Because Ladybug is effectively forced to... Gotta switch out here, gotta try to bait out Encore, but... you know, Pideous knows that, Ladybug also knows that, so that's kind of why we got that turn we got. And go recover here, and I am just gonna speed this up because my god. Sweet Jesus, we're gonna be here for a while. Got Encore up here, gotta go into Latias, and oh, explodes there. Interesting. So, Ladybug probably realizes that the Magnezone, like Pideous is never giving Ladybug a chance to knock the Scarm, but because of that explosion, I think Ladybug might come to regret that later, because Scarm can just get more spikes up, which puts more pressure on Hippo, especially because I think that's the one thing really pulling out all the stops. Gonna see him up here, probably gotta try to bait out. Okay, yeah. Gonna see him again, and okay, finally draws it out. And Pideous gonna have to switch out again. And Scarm's gonna get S-Toss, but this means the Scarm can get a free roost up. And as a result, now Pideous can safely throw some layers up. But no, he's going to opt to try and put the pressure on Hippo by drill pecking, but meets a Latias. And oh, Pideous' last is also a Magnezone. And oh, but that Magnezone's effectively useless. Although I suppose, no, one thing Ladybug could do, or sorry, Pideous could do with this is, oh, now things just got a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna pause here. So, Gliscor being the last on Ladybug's team, now it makes even more sense why he's running Magnezone. And really heavily depending on, Magnezone to remove something like a Skarmory, which would be problematic for something like SD Ice Fang Gliscor. So now looking at this, Ladybug has an actual chance to win now, especially because Pideous made the error of letting the Magnezone get full para'd, or sorry, getting T-Wave. Again, I don't know if the Magnezone has HP Ice or, even something like Flash Cannon. Although, to be fair, the Clefable, if it's Bolt Clef, it can actually live a boosted EQ for the most part and then KO it right back with something like Ice Beam. So, Ladybug may have found the path that they're looking for. Gets a huge crit there, does not get the flinch to follow it up. Question is, does this have taunt? Gets a flinch there. Something tells me that, maybe Ladybug does not have taunt on this Gliscor. Whirlwind's out here. And yeah, I mean, for Pideous at this point, it's about positioning yourself so that Gliscor doesn't run you over. Because a last Pokemon Gliscor situation is one way that Ladybug can actually lose this game. Just gonna keep going here. And Skarm going to be low on health, but gotta be able to heal up. And does exactly that. And oh, Tyranitar is going to be sent in. And Payback going to do decent damage on the Clefable, and Pideous now trying to use Protect here to recover some health back. It finally gets the knockoff. Well after the Magnezone is out of the equation. I wonder, did Ladybug get too impatient perhaps? I'm not sure. But Pideous just letting the Magnezone get T-Wave for no reason, I think, was also just as jarring, unless the idea of last Pokemon Gliscor didn't really register in Pideous's mind. That said though, now Pideous going to CM up here, and Ice Beam's going to do significant damage, and gonna get full parrot. And now things are looking really dire for Ladybug, but again, Ladybug needs to force the Clefable out of the picture, and not only that, Ladybug also is going to have to set up a last Pokemon Gliscor situation where, Skarmory is not capable of phasing, but with Magikarp Clef, that's going to be a tall task for Pideous to do. So instead, what Pideous has to do is try. Oh man, could have Ice Beamed there, I think. So what Pideous has to do is drain the Clefable of all its resources, and Pideous is doing a good job right now, having already burnt through 7 uses of Encore. I mean, once the last Encore is used up, then this Clefable has a clear path where there's no stopping it, to say the least. Knock off again. Get a T-Bolt here, probably try to force a para, but Pideous also, she's probably doing this also to conserve Ice Beam PP. And there's the last Encore. Down to 3 soft boils though, so that can be a little bit tricky. And just gonna sacrifice the Quagsire. And oh man, things might have gotten tricky now, because if Ladybug can burn up all those soft boil uses on Pideous's end, I mean, she's down to 2. And now she's gotta stay. Oh man, that might have been a bad soft boil. I would just, oh, it's out. It's out of S tosses. Now there's nothing stopping Pideous from just setting up. And then just gotta boost up the full here. I don't think the Gliscor is gonna be able to even do enough. And T-Bolt's there. I would just click the Ice Beam there. And now it's doing over half. It's now 13. Ladybug can try to switch around with Gliscor, try to stall out the T-Bolt PP, but this is just a crit waiting to happen. No, miss. Pideous could ended it right there. No, but that will do it though. No crit, and Ice Beam's going to get the job done, and Pideous will take this game, and she will move on to 1-0 on the season. Ladybug's going to start this season off with a loss, so well played by really well played by Pideous, and Ladybug did all right, keeping himself in the game for the most part, despite running into a pretty terrible matchup with Shed Scarm. But I think Pideous really showed her team building on display this week, with, you know, the Toxic T-Tar being able to put the hip on a huge timer early on in the game, and then, you know, being able, and also the Choice Specs Latias being able to trick it onto something like Bronzong, and not to mention having the patience to win that Clefable war with the Clef his Encores being completely drained long term, so that was just good long term planning from Pideous. Ladybug did well enough to at least try to give himself a chance with Gliscor, like last Pokemon Gliscor, but Pideous just like outpositioned for most of the game. And yeah, so there's that. That said though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.